In this video, we'll build a Node.js API where we can search, sort, and paginate. Before we start building the app, I would like to remind you that this video can be combined with other videos. So if you want to use Node with any of these front-end frameworks, or Node with MySQL or MongoDB, I provided some links in the description of this video. The combinations are optional, so you can also watch the video without needing to combine them. Now let's start building the app, but also make sure to check scalablescripts.com. Now let's create the project. Now I am in an empty directory, and let's create a Node project inside. So run npm init -y, and this will create automatically a package.json file. So we have the package.json. Now we can install packages that our app will need, and the first one, we need to use TypeScript in our app. So I will install TypeScript, npm install -d for dev dependencies, TypeScript. And now that I installed TypeScript as a dev dependency, we need to configure Node to run with TypeScript. And to do it, I will run this command npx tsc init. This will create this tsconfig.json file. So to use TypeScript, we need this file, and we don't need to change anything here, but in this app we need to uncomment these two, experimental decorators and emit decorators metadata, because these are needed when we use TypeORM. So TypeScript is configured, and now we need two other packages that will run, and we will wait for changes in our app. So I will install them, npm install as a dev dependency. I will install tsnode and nodemon. So let's create here in this directory src, and inside I'll create a TypeScript file index. And here for the moment just console log hello. Now we want to display this hello since we are using a TypeScript file, and in our package.json I will change this test here. I will remove it, and I will add a start. And a start command that we need to run is this nodemon exec tsnode src index.ts. So nodemon will wait for changes of this file, and tsnode will execute TypeScript files as a JavaScript file. So this is the only command that we need, and we can run here npm start. And as we can see, we are console logging hello here. If we change the file to hello2 and save it, it will display it automatically. So we configured successfully nodemon now. Now let's install the other packages that we need. So I'll install express course for the moment, and we need also the dev dependencies of these packages. So npm install -d types express and types course. So in our index.ts now, let's remove this console log, and here we need to import express. From express we need to import also course from course. and we have to use it like this. We have to create an app which is equal to express, and this app will use course, and inside we'll put all the origins that we want. So I'll put them as an array, and we will have some URLs here, which is HTTP localhost port 3000. This is for React. 8080 is for Vue.js, and 4200, this is for Angular. So before I continue, what is course? Course is a problem that our browsers will prevent requests from different ports, because we will see that we will listen to port 8000 in this app, and this front-end apps will use different ports, and if we don't add course, then the browser will prevent it, and we won't be able to consume our APIs. And that's it. So with this, the frontend can consume our API. And the last one is to add app use express JSON, so we can use the request as a JSON. I'll just add a console log here to see if our app is running. Listening to port 8000. If we save, we can see that we are listening to port 8000. So this is working fine. Now we need to connect with the database and to create our endpoints. So before I connect with the database, I will create here a new directory, entity, and inside the entity I will create a TypeScript file called product. So before we connect with the database, let's create a class for the object that database will save, and we will create a class about the product, and this product will have an ID as a number, or I'll put it as a string. It will have a title as a string, description as a string, image as a string, and also a price as a number. So this is highlighting because this properties needs to be initialized in the constructor. Otherwise, if they are not initialized, they will not run, so they will throw an error. I can fix this by adding an exclamation point in the end, so this signals that I won't initialize them. So if I do it like this, then our product will be okay, and we can use now this product and to map it to our database. To connect with the database, we will use a package called TypeORM. So this package is really powerful, and let's try to install it. So to install it, we have to run this command. And we need to install also reflect metadata. And let's install also types node. So let's install this also. Now we can select which database that we want. So we have MySQL or MongoDB here. Now let's use MongoDB. So let's copy this command, and we need to install MongoDB. And now that we have installed it, first we need to add a file here, which is orm config.json, and this file will be the connection with TypeORM to MongoDB, our local MongoDB. Here I will paste this JSON. So this will define the connection is MongoDB, the host is localhost. This is the database. Synchronized through, it means that this product will be mapped to this MongoDB database. Logging false, and the entities will be source, entity, and any file that ends with ts, so our product.ts. Now we connected with MongoDB, we need also to convert this to a TypeORM entity. So first here I will add a decorator, and this is an entity. So we need to import entity from TypeORM, and now that we added the entity, we can add also for each column. The primary key is object ID column. The title is a column, and I'll copy this and I'll paste it for every other value. So now we created this product as an entity where TypeORM will use these products to create the table. So before we see the database, we have to import here create connection from TypeORM. So now that we imported this function, we have to use it like this: create connection, then we will have the connection, and this will be a function that inside will put all this code that we written before. So this means that after we connect with the database, we can run the server, and also we can create here the product repository, which is equal to connection get mongo repository, and inside we'll add the product. So with this, now we are ready to use the database. So let's use the database. Let's connect with MongoDB, and this will be a default connection, so we can apply here. So first let's connect, and then we have to select a schema, and I will refresh here. It should be not search. So it's not appearing for the moment. We connected with Mongo, and what is left now is to do the APIs, but they will all return empty arrays because we don't have any data in the database. That's why we need to install another package. Let's install Faker. And Faker is a package that we need to put some fake data in the database. We need to install also the dev dependencies of types Faker. And in this project now, I'll create a new directory. I'll call it commands. And inside, I'll create a TypeScript file, populate. Now, with this file, I will do the same with this create connection here. I'll paste it here, and we have the connection. So why do we need this file? So this is just a command to populate our database. Now that we have faker, we can add here a for loop for let I equals to 0, I should be less than 50, I plus plus. So we have a for loop here, and I'll make this function here asynchronous. And now we are ready to create products. To create products, write await product repository, save, and here we need to pass the product data. So inside we need to pass the title, because all the values are these values here. The title will be faker, import faker also, lorem words 2. Description will be faker lorem words 10, image faker image URL, and price will be faker data type number, maximum will be on 100. So this is the command that we want to run in order to populate our database. In the end, we'll write process.exit, because we don't want to wait. After we finish, we want to exit. And what is left now is to go to package.json, and here we need to add the command populate. And this will run node ts node commands populate. So let's run this command now. We'll run npm run populate, and if we exit, so everything is running successfully, because this is just a warning, this is not an error. And now we should probably have a table, so we have 16 tables, and we can refresh, and this is our table. We have the product that is created, and also we have populated 50 products. So we successfully connected and populated MongoDB, and now we are ready to create the endpoints in order to return those data. So let's add the first endpoint, which is app get API /products /frontend, and this will be an asynchronous function, because we will use TypeORM that uses promises, and this will have a request and a response. And what do we want to do now is we will get all the products. So const products are equal to await product repository find, and this will return all the products. In the end, response send, and we will send the products, and that's it. So this is the frontend endpoint. We just return all the products, and the frontend will filter them. So let's test this endpoint. Before we test it, make sure to install Postman, because I will be using it now. So once you install Postman, we'll send a GET request to HTTP localhost port 8000 /API /products /frontend. And as we can see, we are getting all the items here. So the request works correctly. Now let's add the other endpoint, which is the backend. So this will be more complex: API/products/backend. And this will also return an asynchronous function with a request and a response. And what do we want to do now? First, I will create an object, options, which will be an empty object. And to filter the data, we have to pass the options. So the response will be equal to await product repository find, just like we did before, but this time we'll pass the options. And the response will send this data. So now we haven't done anything. So if we send the request to the backend, we'll probably get the same result. But now we want to send some parameters to the backend, like for example the search value. So let's search inside the database now. So we will send the search parameter like this. So search is equal to something, and to get that value we have to call here, which is request query search. So this is the value that we want. I will wrap this with an if condition, because we don't know if the user has sent the search or not. And if the user has sent the search, what do we want to do? We have to change the options. We have to create another object that has all the previous value of the options. So we probably don't need this, because this is an empty object, but it's good to keep it like this once this changes. And what do we want to add here is a where title. So will be we have to make a regular expression. So new regular expression for the request query search, and we will add the I flag. So this needs to add a toString in the end, so we have to make it a string. So what did I do here? This is basically I want to get all the products that this search is inside this title. In Mongo we have to use regular expressions, and we have to do it like this. So with this, let's see if this works. So I will search by this word inside, and I'll pass it here. Search. As we can see, we are getting the product that we wanted. So this means that the search works. So we search with the title, and now we have to do the same with the description. So this should not be like this, because this is an end condition, and if we search again we won't probably get any items. So this should not be the case, because we have to use an OR for these two items. This is using an AND, which means that the search value should be inside the title and the description, but we want it either one of these, or the title or the description. To add an OR condition, we have to add here OR, and this accepts an array. Inside the array we will put this values like this. Not like this, but we have to add them as an object. So the same will apply with the description. Create an object and put the description inside. So now this title and the description are connected with an OR condition, and we will probably get more items now. So with this we get this item that it is in the title, but as we can see, we are getting also items that have it in the description. So this is how we search items in Mongo. Now let's add the other filter, which is sorting. So let's add the condition like we did with the search. So request query sort, and here we'll send either ascending or descending value, and just like we did with the search, the options will be equal to another object. We'll pass all the options here, and we will attach order here, and we have to specify the column that we want to order. We want to order by the price, and the order, it is the request query sort. We have to convert it to string, and we have to convert it to uppercase, because it won't work if it is lowercase. The order will work only on uppercase cases. So with this we can send a sort, and let's send a sort ascending. I will disable this search, send the request, and we are getting the first item as a price of 1, 2, 8, etc. So all the products are sorted. We can send also descending, and we can see they are sorted descending based on the price. We can also send the search and the sort simultaneously, and we are getting the items that are from this search but also sorted descending, so we can combine them. Now the last filter is the pagination. For the pagination we have to get the page, which is a number, and this page will be equal to request query page. If it's not set, we have to send 1 here, because by default the page is 1. So we have to convert this to an integer, so I will use here parse int to this value. Also, should I put to string? I will declare this as any. So we got the page. Now we have to create another variable. I will call it take, and this is how many values we want to return. So we want to paginate, and we want to return 9 items per page, and we have everything that we need now in order to paginate. And the options now, we don't need to do it like this, because we can use it directly here. When we find here, we'll pass all the options, and we can pass the pagination values, which we want to return 9 items per page. So I will pass take here. This is take equals to take, but since it is the same name, I can use it like this. So now this returns 9 items, but we also want to use the page, which is the other option, skip. And the skip will be page -1 times take. This means that if the page is equal to 1, this is 0, so we are starting from the beginning. If the page is 2, then we will skip the first 9 items and we will return the second 9 items. So this is exactly what we want to do with the pagination. So if we disable everything, we will return the first 9 items. So this should be the first 9 items because I cannot count them. But let's also send some meta information that we need. So we need to get the total of the items. To find the total, we have to make another query here. Wait, product repository, count. So with this, we know how many products are there before we paginate. And we can send those values in the response. So the data, I'll send it directly like this. We want to return the total. We want to return the page. And we want to return the last page. And the last page, we have to calculate it ourselves. This is math ceil total divided by take. And with this, we completed also the pagination. If we send a request, we'll get data here. We get the total, page, and the last page. And we can move to the next page. So page 2. We can see we are getting different items here. Also, page is equal to 2. Also, we can combine also the search, sort, and the page, and everything will work just fine. So this is how we search, sort, and paginate using Node.js and MongoDB. I hope you liked this tutorial, and if you did, please also share and subscribe. Thank you.